that means it's game time. Ladies and gentlemen, first of 6 incredible matches on the day coming your way right now. We're going to start with the ladies semifinals, followed by the guys. And then the 2 finals will start at 3 p.m. this afternoon, live on NBC at 4:30. Let's meet the teams for our first women's semifinal. This first team has been absolutely rolling, ladies and gentlemen, for the last few weeks, all the way through here in New York City. Sort of looking unstoppable right now. This first player, at 24 years young, out of San Diego, California, and Pepperdine University, give it up for Miss Summer Ross. First giveaway of the day. Oh, right through the hands. And her partner, out of Fort Myers, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. She can call herself an Olympian now, represented the United States of America in Rio de Janeiro last summer. She is a 3-time best defender on the AVP Tour. Let me hear it for Brooke Sweat. And their opponents, ladies and gentlemen, find themselves right here in the semifinals. They're looking good. This first young player has 1 win on the AVP Tour. Love to make it 2 right here in New York City at 32 years young, out of San Diego, California. Put your hands together for Miss Kimberly DiCello. And her partner, who has made 1 final on the AVP Tour, but is looking for her first ever victory. And she would love to do it at the first ever Gold Series right here in New York. Originally out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Wichita State University, she is Emily Stockman. Right in her hands, just how she planned it. Nice catch, young lady. Good platform.
Good morning, everybody. How's it going? We're here at the New York City Open on Sunday, our favorite day. I'm Tri-Born.
Rich Lamborn.
Rich Lamborn, the one and only. And we're here to watch our first semifinal of the day, the women's match between Ross and Sweat and DiCello and Stockman.
Expect to see a lot of that, right? Expect to see a lot of defense from Sweat and Ross. They had a great tournament just a weekend ago.
Again, I'm Tri-Born, normally a player, but today I'm on the webcast, and I might be here more often this season.
Tri-Born, professional broadcaster.
Rich Lamborn, yeah.
Rich Lamborn, I'm a coach. Never was a great player.
He's also a gold medal Olympian on the indoor side of things, and a beach coach for Brunner and Patterson.
Indeed.
Summer Ross with the dime pass, as always. She puts it away. Summer always makes it look easy, am I right?
That is her style. Nice and relaxed. No stress. There's no stress in the Summer Ross game.
Anti-stress. Nice pass set. Easy side out for Kim DiCello there.
I like to think of Kim as the Jim Furyk of beach volleyball, in that her style's a little unorthodox but very, very effective.
Well, golf reference for you there.
It is Sunday. Good golf day.
Good call, good call. Sticking on Summer Ross here, and another nice, easy high line.
By way of contrast, as you mentioned, Summer, impeccable passing form. Probably the best on tour.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's just been such easy pass set, side out this match.
Battle of the left-siders, right?
Yeah,
so far.
Going at each other. Let's see if they stay on Summer Ross. She's been in a rhythm so far, but it's still really early. And they do. A little change of tempo there from Summer Ross. A few high lines, and then came out with a little heat. No surprise that they're going away from the only Olympian on the court here, Brooke Sweat, who's back to serve.
You don't find that surprising, Try? That they
not
don't
at
go
all.
after Brooke a little bit?
Well, early on, I mean, I guess their game plan was to go after Summer, but Brooke in this heat, and you don't want Brooke to get into a rhythm. She'll make you run all day with all of her shots.
And once you get to this level of the tournament, there are very few weaknesses in any of the teams remaining, right?
Exactly.
So you're talking about fractional margins, but it's quite a testament to the side-out game and the level at which Brooke plays that they don't serve her as the smallest player on the court.
Exactly, and Summer's, everybody knows how good Summer is siding out, as you can see right here, but it's really picking your poison, right? You have to serve one of them. Summer, excited to play volleyball as always. Angle drop from Summer makes the easy dig, or makes the hard dig look easy, I should say.
It's an incredible play, just great control on the overhand dig by Summer. Do we give credit to Coach Ty Tremblay?
That's a Ty Tremblay-esque play. I see him sitting over on the wall at the edge of the pier watching right now.
I think
Great
that's a nice
shot.
addition to that team this year. I mean, Ty Tremblay, obviously amazing player, but just a great vibe.
Yeah,
in general.
I think that's a good call. He definitely matches the persona of the team, which is just stay positive, no stress for any of these players, all positive energy, whether they're winning or losing. There's really not many highs and lows of energy. It's all high positive energy, and honestly, right now they're on a tear for a few tournaments in a row. They just got back from Moscow where they got a silver medal, and that was in the snow, and now it's about 85 degrees in New York City, and they're still tearing it up.
They're getting both extremes, certainly.
Exactly. Nice shot by Kim DiCello there. As you've seen, she's been hitting all the spots siding out here, sending all her shots nice and deep, which is what you're going to see a lot at the elite level is players hitting the corners and the edges of the courts to make it that much harder for an elite defender like Brooke Sweat. Summer again, going deep.
Over the line, Summer Ross, 9-6.
There is a necessity to be crisp at this level, right? Anything less than almost perfect shots are going to get scooped up by defenders, especially once we get to the semis and the finals of any given tournament.
Exactly, and there's just, if you have that little bit of hesitation, it's going to be it's going to give away your shot, you know, and someone like Brooke Sweat, who's an Olympic level defender, is going to pick that up every time. You can't telegraph shots. You have to decide quickly and make crisp shots, like you said.
Going back briefly to the coaching of Coach Tremblay with Brooke and Summer, if there's anybody who can kind of, I don't know, garner the respect of a defender who's already as talented as Brooke Sweat, it's a guy like Ty, who has kind of exceeded what you would think he's capable of stature-wise and so forth. I mean, he's really one of the most exciting defenders we have on the men's side, and he's clearly been able to affect his team in a positive way, which is his energy and his knowledge about the game, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the guy just loves volleyball, and every time he steps on the sand, he surprises you. It's definitely never an easy match against a guy like Ty Tremblay, who's literally always sandy as Summer Ross with ridiculous volleyball skills right there. That's Summer Ross in a nutshell. She just does ridiculously hard things that makes it look so easy. And I mean, looking by her reaction, you can't even tell if she lost the point or not. It's all the same to her.
She was going backwards and forward simultaneously on that.
While
somehow.
she dug it one-handed, and then had a nice little finesse shot drop in front of the defender, which is way harder than it looks.
Summer's surprisingly long.
Yeah.
She's quite tall. She's about 6'2", long limbs, and really amazing touch, especially for somebody of her height.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous play that we just saw right there. Brooks all over that shot. Summer with the buttery hands. That's going to be really hard to stop when Brooke's in rhythm like that with a perfect pass, and Summer can put it anywhere she wants it with her hand-setting ability. And they're pulling away a little bit here, about close to halfway through about halfway through the first set.
Yeah, that's a piece to Summer's game that we don't see a lot on the domestic tour. We're seeing more and more of on the women's side internationally, is that hand-setting ability.
Yeah, I personally, for my game, I think my rule for myself is always set it with your hands if you can get your hands on the ball. It's kind of a scary thing to do because it's obviously the ref's judgment whether he wants to call it or not, but for me, I think it creates a better rhythm for your teammate. It comes out of your hands actually quicker than off your platform. There's less distance for the ball to actually travel. It doesn't have to go all the way down to your platform, and it's just going to be more accurate and more consistent for the hitter. So for me, I try to put my hands on it as often as possible, but I mean, that takes a lot of practice and confidence, and obviously Summer Ross has that.
You're opening yourself up to the subjective nature of whatever the ref decides to do, right? Which is a little bit scary, but it is more consistent for your partner.
Exactly, and it's also tough because as you switch tours from the international tour to the domestic tour, the rules change a little bit. They're a little more lenient in different ways, so you got to be careful with who's reffing, what tour you're on, and what ball you're using. Scrappy play here, but that's 4 touches for Stockman and DiCello. Still trying to find their rhythm here.
Tell me about the difference between setting the balls internationally and domestically, the Wilson versus the Mikasa.
Right, so on the AVP tour, we're using the Wilson, and it's a little heavier, a little bigger, and honestly, it's just easier to play with in general. Obviously, all of us Americans grew up playing with the Wilson, and you have more control with it, and for me, it's like going back to the elementary ball. You can really do whatever you want with it, and I think it's more fun to play with. The international ball is lighter. It's more like it's a little more slippery, the leather on it, so it's harder to get your hands on it, but on the international tour, they let the ball spin a little more, and they want it to be a little bit more of an indoor style, so coming out of your hands quickly. I think it's harder to set on the World Tour, but it's also because the ball's lighter, and usually when you get that heavy feel with the Wilson, you can control it more and have a better feel on the ball, but it's definitely tough to go back and forth. That set spun a little bit, but the ref decided to let it go. Stockman with the crush.
Yeah, the refs are trained to be looking for the double contact rather than just reacting to the spin, right?
Right.
If they're doing their job correctly, which is very, very difficult in their defense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes you might see a little more spin. The fans will kind of wonder why the refs aren't calling it, but if the ref sees that it touched both hands at the same time and came off both hands at the same time, he'll let a little spin go.
Nice job by Emily and Kim leveling this match right here.
14-all. Here we go. This is crunch time. The last 7 points. A lot of times at practice, you know, as a coach, you're having your players play entire matches, or sorry, not entire matches, but you're having them practice playing matches starting at 14-all, right?
Right.
This is where the elite players step up, and they went to the Olympian here, so let's see what she does. Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Block by Kim DiCello.
Obviously, we're very far away, but it looks like that ball mark is out. I guess it got part of the rope.
No complaints from the players, so it looks like the lines judge got it right. Definitely looked out from here. Summer on 2. Summer's definitely not scared of a big moment, and obviously we're entering crunch time here, and she stays aggressive, and instead of setting her Olympian partner, she goes on 2, and it was the right choice. Oh, Brooke Sweat doing what she does best. One-handed dig.
So tell me, as a player, if I'm playing against you and defensively, even though Brooke and Summer don't get that point, they're able to extend the rally and make me work an extra time or two to get that side out. Does that play on your mind as an offensive player? You feel like you've got to be more precise. And maybe I can induce some mistakes by just keeping the ball alive a little extra time.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's when you're playing against a team and every ball's hitting the ground cleanly, you're just in a perfect rhythm. They're not even touching it before it hits the sand. Your confidence level goes through the roof. But if you're still getting kills, but they're touching it every time, you keep wanting to tell yourself that I have to make it better, I have to make it better, and you put that pressure on yourself sometimes. So just that extra hustle, even if you just touch it and don't get it up, it puts in your opponent's mind that you're there. You're creeping up on all those shots, and they're gonna have to be better. And that's kind of how you stick with these top teams. You make sure you impose your will and let them know that you're there to ball no matter what, no matter what's happening.
Big part of the game, I think, that my team and I talk about a lot, and you tell me what you think, is creating hesitation in the other team. If you can get them to balk even for a split second, that can create some mistakes or some of those less than perfect shots we talked about earlier that can give you that 1 or 2 point advantage per set that becomes the difference in wins and losses at this level.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's that these teams are so good, and if you can win by 3 points out here, it's kind of like you handled that match. Like, there's not many games that are beatdowns out here. It's that extra 1 or 2%, that one play that turns matches and can really turn around a tournament for any team. So absolutely, if you can make your opponent think a little bit extra on every play and make a little bit more crisp plays without that hesitation on your side and creating a hesitation on the other side, then that for sure is going to turn it in your favor. I watched yesterday your boys Casey Patterson and Theo Brunner play, and it looked like they were starting to find their rhythm there. I saw Theo finally get his blocking going, which is a sight to see. That guy's a freak at the net when he's going, and I really enjoyed watching them. It looked like what you were saying, like there was just no hesitation for Theo.
Again, this is Rich Lamborn here. I'm with Tri-Born. He's nice enough to let me into his booth as he's been here all weekend, just killing it on the live stream.
I don't know about my booth. I just like the view.
Yeah, I needed a pass to get up high to see all the action.
Plus, we got a little breeze up here. It's definitely hot down there on the sand, and the flags aren't quite blowing yet, so I'm sure these girls are burning up down there, but it's a perfect day for the fans. Looks like we got it.
We just saw the flag go limp, right? It was blowing a little bit, kind of the same direction it was yesterday. The big board side, the left side of your screen has been the good side with the breeze going that way, right?
Right now there's basically no breeze, just a nice stagnant wind for the ladies to bake in down there on the sand.
And it is warm already. It's not 11 o'clock in the morning yet, and it's cooking.
Here we go. Stockman DiCello in the lead. Wow, this is huge. Summer putting it away in transition there. It's 19 all, ladies and gentlemen.
Clearly that on two is a big part of their game. Brooke really good at just shoving that thing up there to her big partner, Summer.
Absolutely. DiCello going back, switching up her offense. Summer Ross in the net, but Kim DiCello got the kill anyway, and they got set point right here. They're just scrapping along. We're talking a lot about the team that's been on fire the last few weeks, but Stockman and DiCello just scrapping and getting themselves a set point in this first set.
Okay, Brooke.
Brooke with a little hammer down the line. I saw a little hesitation there. That's what you were talking about earlier. There was some hesitation from Kim DiCello whether she wanted to drop or block, and it looks like she got to the net late there, and Brooke made her pay for it. There's that. That's a huge part of Brooke's game, the volleys.
Yeah.
She's ridiculous.
We call that the Ludwig. Laura Ludwig, kind of the pioneer of that, and for sure the best in the world at it. Brooke doing a nice job seeing the open court. And I mean, really, she did a great job of being in the perfect position first and foremost.
Oh, she read that thing from the very beginning, and right when it was coming off of Kim's hand, I think she was already deciding to go over. And I know you got to love that play as an elite ball control player yourself.
Yeah, that play not part of the indoor game as there's 6 guys standing over there.
That's called a free ball in the indoor game.
That's called a defensive error.
It's called you're getting subbed out and probably fired from your job.
Exactly. Yeah, this is quite a battle here. 21-20 now, Summer and Brooke with set point. It's been back and forth. They led 12-9 at the technical. Kim and Emily just a few moments ago had a set point. But Brooke and Summer battling back and looking to close this one out.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, they were just scrapping. They were touching. Even when they weren't getting balls, Kim DiCello and Emily Stockman are just touching everything and kind of imposing their will. But I did see a little hesitation in that one block from Kim. Brooke Sweat made them pay, and then they got another one, and now they're on their heels a little, but they're in the semifinals for a reason because they're one of the elite teams out here, and they're definitely not tired because this team is in great shape, if not the most fit team out here on tour.
Absolutely.
A chance for Summer Ross.
Just out of bounds.
She hits it about a foot out of bounds.
Kim was on it if that was in. This is impressive defense and ball control being displayed by both squads here. Just real quickly, I mean, maybe the abs of Jeremy Casebeer are the only abs that can rival Emily Stockman's.
Yeah, no.
On tour, male or female.
Oh, for sure. Potentially an 8-pack. I'm gonna have to get to work for when I come back out on tour.
There is a high standard.
Definitely.
Off the block, on the line anyway. It's 22-21.
Good aggressive line swing. You know, that's a veteran swing right there. You have to have confidence. It's one of the easiest balls to block, but since she's been coming in and using her whole repertoire of shots all day, it was open here late in the set. Oh, Summer with the clutch dig.
That's kind of back-to-back swings for the set that we've seen both teams have. Summer just missed that one wide when her team had a chance to win the set, and she scooped and delivered there on that one when Emily had a chance to put it away.
It's really who's going to step up right here in the clutch situation and make a play on defense, not only digging a ball but they have to transition out of it as well. It looks like both teams have had their chances here, but neither has really capitalized on that transition set and kill.
Turns out it's hard to kill balls against these teams. Oh,
yeah. That's kind of a fortunate play. That's not the pass that Brooke Sweat wanted, but they had an open net because Kim DiCello was back serving, so fortunate play for them.
Speaks again to Summer's length. She's able to just kind of extend the arm and get the slightest of touches on that to put it away.
Again on 2. Yep. There's that confidence from Summer Ross. She takes every opportunity she gets. When she feels like it's in her wheelhouse, she's going to go for it and not hesitate, and I'm sure Brooke loves that.
As somebody who had some shoulder issues leading into the Rio Olympics, Brooke Sweat, it's nice to have a partner that can do that, swing at balls on 2 to kind of alleviate the pressure.
And who's willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know for a fact my partner took every single opportunity he possibly could to put me up on 2, and I loved it, but I definitely got about 10 more swings per match because of it. But then again, my partner, John Hayden, ex-partner, is 44 years old, so you know I got to take a few swings for the old man.
Yeah, his was a mileage issue more than a health issue,
right?
I think, right? Johnny Hyde, one of the best shoulders in the history of the game, in our country at least, I would say.
Yeah, the guy, he will only hit it if you make him. If he can put it down 30% swing, he will. He's the human hybrid, I like to call him.
That's how you last till you're 44 in
Exactly.
any sport, is efficiency.
There's an error at the end of the set, and that's what did it.
What a first set, 26-24, Summer Ross
Like we talked
Brooke
about,
Sweat.
the margin between winning and losing is ever so slight out here. And just that one mistake at a critical point gives the first set to Summer and Brooke.
26-24 in the first, in the heat. That's the way Sunday should be, right?
That's the way Sunday should be. That's the way semifinals should be. I'm interested to see what happens here in set number 2. As you know, sometimes it can be frustrating if you're Kim and Emily, for example, and you had some swings at the set to not put that away. Let's see how they respond.
Yeah, I definitely think it's huge. Emily and Kim need to keep in mind that they're playing one of the hottest teams in the world right now. These girls are playing at an elite level, at a world-class level, and they just went 26-24 with having chances to take the set themselves. So they need to keep that in mind, keep their confidence up and not let it get to them. It's easy to let those errors weigh on you, but at this level, you gotta just let it go and move on, because there's no time for that, because you're gonna lose real quick if you let those things weigh on you.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be rattled, but I'm curious to see if Brooke and Summer can press their advantage. If that gives them a little bit of confidence that they've been building, like you mentioned, throughout the World Tour the last couple months, and if they can really step on the gas here a little bit in set number 2.
Exactly, those girls are on fire. Another great play by Brooke Sweat, but Emily Stockman, they're touching it again. Just showing Brooke Sweat, I'm here, I'm gonna get some of these. It ain't gonna be easy. Ace Rooney from Summer Ross.
Like we talked about earlier, they're stepping on the gas a little bit here.
Yeah, you do not want to get down to a deficit early in the match, but Summer Ross ending her own run there. Something coaches like you, I'm sure, warn them not to do.
One of my least favorite things in the sport is when you kill your own runs from the service line.
Yeah. Sometimes you get an ace and you get extra confident. You want to get one more ace because it's that much better when you get 2 in a row, right? But realistically, you have that momentum, and if you miss it, you're giving it away.
Tell me what you think as a player. When you don't side out once or twice, do you feel a little bit of added pressure, like, hey, I got to do this. I can't give up a 3-point run or a 4-point run?
Yeah, I think you can't. Yeah, that's the biggest part of the game. You know, at this level, if it goes beyond 2-3 points, you're creating a big hole for you and your team. For me, I kind of feel bad for my partner. I'm like, I got to come through for my partner right now, put this ball away. Yeah, it's huge at this level. You can't give up big runs. So each and every point that you do give up, when it does happen, you have to have that little bit more sense of urgency to stop that run and then focus in to get those points back on defense.
Summer raising her serve 5 or 6 inches and gets kind of the trickle, the half trickle for the ace.
Looks like she's bringing Kim DiCello in short a little bit here in this second. Probably something they maybe talked about, or just something Summer's coming up with on the spot. I don't know. Going a little deeper with that float. Here we go. Someone's got to capitalize here in transition. Both teams have had too many chances, and another chance here. This is going to be huge. Smart shot by Brooke Sweat.
That's a taxing play in the heat.
Yeah, exactly. But man, I want to say both teams got to be a little frustrated with that rally. They both had opportunities in transition, and what I saw there was just, it came down to setting. They weren't getting their players good swings in transition. Obviously, they're sprinting around the court and diving all over the place, so it's easier said than done. But early on in those rallies, I thought they had at least 1 or 2 opportunities to finish it. And of course, Brooke Sweat is kind of a specialist in that department of long rallies and scrappy ball play.
She's definitely in some phenomenal shape. And like we talked about, her shoulder's feeling good because she's had to take very few swings thus far. Even when she gets served or she's digging balls in the back court, Summer's putting those away on 2 a lot of the time to help keep her fresh.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch Brooke Sweat when she's healthy. We both were on tour over the last few years watching her and Lauren Fendrick qualify for the Olympics, and she went through some tough times with that shoulder injury, but she still grinded through and made the Olympics. And I mean, now she's healthy from what I know, and it's so fun to watch her.
They haven't dropped a set thus far in this tournament, if our notes are correct.
That shows how on fire they are. Almost had the gold medal in Moscow, but they dropped it to the Brazilians, of course.
They're a dangerous team because they're kind of unassuming. You don't look at a bracket on paper and go, this is the juggernaut, and then all of a sudden you're losing.
Yeah.
Because where's the weakness? They both control the ball well. The much talked about on-2 game, Summer's hand setting, all these elements that they have, they can kind of chop you up a number of different ways. And they've shown that the last couple weeks and months.
Exactly. To me, beach volleyball is a game of ball control. As Summer misses the shot deep, they have the fundamentals, the base, they have that foundation set, which is just so important. I think if you're lacking any of that base in your game, which comes down to ball control out here on the beach, the rest of your game is going to lack. A lot of fans like to see the big hitters, the big plays, and but none of that can happen if you don't have that ball control first. And that's probably what they're best at is covering the fundamentals. And like Rich said, Summer's one of the best passers out there, and she's the blocker. Brooke obviously is an elite passer and defender.
Yeah, you don't see the visually impressive plays out of them necessarily.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to get at.
But there's no leaks in their game.
Not at all.
So unless you can really press them somehow, find a way to make them bleed a point or two, you're in for a long day against a team that controls the ball that consistently well.
The thing that I would like to see as these girls go on a great run, tournament to tournament, is do they have that competitive fire to go to the next level and continue winning, not only through a few tournaments. It's hard enough to do it for one tournament. They're showing that they can do it through multiple tournaments, but can they do it through a whole season where you're playing at that elite level with that killer instinct like you've seen with April Ross and Carrie Walsh? They kind of take pride in like dominating every team that they come through and expecting to win every single tournament.
It takes a while to get to that level, right? You have to have quite a few tournaments like that under your belt before you can start to have that belief. I think you're a perfect guy to speak to this concept I want to ask you about. Summer and Brooke, a new team having early success both domestically and abroad, but there's kind of this regression to the mean of sorts in that you can surprise some teams when they don't know much about you, and then once people get some film on you, play you a couple times, sort of start to develop some tactics,
right?
They make it more, they make their adjustments, and then you're forced to adjust back, and it's kind of this cat and mouse game that's always ongoing, right? You guys had a tremendous amount of success winning Berlin in 2014, right? Just a nice little birthday present for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember, and then, I mean, you guys rolled through that field, surprised everybody, played amazing volleyball, but it wasn't always that easy going forward once people started to see what you guys played like, figured out your brand of volleyball a little bit, right?
Exactly. John Hayden hadn't even really been on the tour much at that point. Nobody in the world knew who I was. So definitely. Teams didn't have a game plan really in place. They kind of just came out to see what I was going to give them. And obviously, I was able to play at the highest level at that point. But yeah, from tournament to tournament, as we had more success, I see teams trying to take away my strengths. I'm like, wow, this has been working a lot. Now guys are starting in my, cut shot, let's say. They're starting exactly where
you want to hit it.
Where I want to hit it. So now I have to adjust. And I mean, that's what it's like at the elite level. And then eventually it turns into cat and mouse, like you said, where, I mean, throughout even one set, you're going back and forth with strategies from play to play even. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes at the highest level. You're matching the other team's momentum, energy, all the changes that they're making, and that's beach volleyball in a nutshell right there. Is, you can game plan all you want, but my game plan is going to be to come in neutral against yours and do the opposite of what you give me.
Right.
So
what do you think the timeline was on that, more or less, for you guys between like Berlin and when you noticed a tangible difference in how difficult it was for you to do the things you wanted to do, for example?
I'd say we were on a really good roll for probably 3 or 4 tournaments there. We actually came back from Berlin and won my first AVP in Milwaukee against Phil Dahlhauser and Sean Rosenthal, which was huge. And I think at that point it was like, all right, that Berlin wasn't a fluke. They came back and then beat Phil and Sean in a final. Looks like we got a new player on tour who's not going to back down. At least that's how I was trying to prove myself.
John Hayden.
Right, yeah, John, yeah, new guy, a rookie, John Hayden at 44. No, but I'd say 3 or 4 events. Obviously, they noticed it right away, but there's a difference between a player who's going to come in and play 1 good tournament, 2 good tournaments, and a player who's or a team that's going to come in and battle for a medal every single time. And I think halfway through the season, it was like, all right, this guy's here. These guys are here to play. They're a new top team on tour. It's time to step up and put a target on their backs. And I can see that change you're talking about maybe halfway through the season. It was like everyone's committed to like, all right, okay, let's take these guys out.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because I'm curious to see how that goes for Brooke and Summer specifically. And this being a year where we have the World Championships at the end of the summer in Vienna, I'm hoping for them and for the United States' sake that they can keep that going into late July and early August and have that success on a grand stage. But I'm also curious to see how the world reacts to the success that they've had early on.
And you know a lot about that, being an Olympian. Trying to peak for a tournament that happens once every 4 years is tough. It's great and all if you're playing well in something like World League, right, indoors, but if you're not playing well at the Olympics, a lot of people will forget about how well you were playing earlier in the year or the year before that. So it's about peaking, but you never want to stop your own run. You want to keep it going as long as you can and then just maintain it.
The beach is a unique animal in that, this is the Gold Series, obviously. There's a little bit extra value in this tournament as it compares to some of the other tournaments. But you're trying to win this one just as much as you're trying to win San Francisco and Hermosa.
Exactly. Yeah, there's that little extra incentive. Obviously, there's more prize money, actually. In New York, there's $175,000 prize purse. Manhattan Beach, which is our other big market, Los Angeles, is actually a $225,000 purse. And then the Chicago and the AVP Championships, which is the 3rd event of the Gold Series, is another $225,000 purse. So, I mean, the players love it. We want the pressure. We want the money. We want more points. And, I mean, you see it with the level of play we're seeing here this weekend.
Yeah, there's added enthusiasm, and this is a wonderful, wonderful sight. It's nice to see that side of the stands filling up before noon here on a Sunday.
It's amazing.
Coming out for the ladies.
14-11 we have here. (14-12). Sorry, correction. Summer Ross with the hit.
Deli thin slice. Yeah, this is kind of what we almost a carbon copy of what we saw in the first set. The technical was 12-9. Summer and Brooke led, they're maintaining that 3-point advantage here. But Kim and Emily were able to come back. Nice little trickle there. Let's see if they can do the same. They're going to switch to what's been the better side. Not a ton of wind right now. But I look for them to make a push right here. Like you talked about, second half of the set is where the rubber meets the road. It's game time.
Float serve, middle to middle, going at Summer Ross. Summer staying aggressive off the block and out of bounds.
I like the pick your poison call by you early. Just thinking about how do you attack the team of Ross and Sweat, because if you serve Brooke, you're almost just as likely to get Summer hitting anyways.
Right, exactly.
So do you just serve Summer so you can have 3 contacts to set up?
That's a very good point. You know, when if you're able to hit that ball on 2, you're staying ready at all times, and a lot of these girls are doing standing floats right now, which are going to be easier to put up on 2. So yeah, I don't know what my strategy would be here.
Nice little play to keep that alive by Summer, but Brooke
Stockman,
unable
DiCello.
to keep it in.
Staying in it. Those girls, I saw them walking down here this morning. They're looking, had a little pep in their step, smiles on their faces, a little more intense on the court, but they were pumped up to play. Summer, another clean side out, making it look easy.
It's generally a pretty smiley group, this foursome here.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of
you'll never
positive
see
energy.
Summer Ross in a bad mood.
No.
Kim DiCello, one of the nicer human beings on planet Earth, probably.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous dig, dropping off the net. Patented Summer Ross play right there.
She's shown us quite a few of those. I mean, pulling at the right time is a skill in and of itself, but then digging a ball that's coming at your face or any other body part is a whole other thing. And she's shown us an array of ability at that.
It's unbelievable. Stockman and DiCello have been pretty unbelievable, especially offensively this whole season, honestly. Emily Stockman's actually has she has the most digs on tour right now.
Most digs?
Most digs on tour right now. And I mean, you're seeing how scrappy and in shape she is. It's about all those balls that she can touch, but they're not able to get too many of those here in the second set, especially later in the set. Kim DiCello's actually leading the tour in blocks. So this team has been on fire.
It's a good defensive team.
Offensively and defensively. And Kim DiCello is also leading the tour in kills. So statistically, you'd think they'd be the 1 seed if you look at this stat sheet right here. Summer with the dig for the match.
What a play.
There's that scrappiness. Right back with the short pokey. Another one. Brooke Sweat misses it just long.
What a great play to stay alive there by Kim and Emily. Like you talked about, that short shot in transition is not easy to pull off. Kim did a nice job of it there. Score's frozen though, so they don't earn the point for that. They're still trailing by 5. A little bit of a hole to climb out of when you have to serve to score every point. 5 points, but if anybody can do it.
There it is on 2. Just as they drew it up.
Tried to throw one into Brooke to keep him off balance, and she just dimes that thing.
You can't serve it right to her. She has too good ball control. You have to make her move and challenge her with the serve. Here's a chance for Brooke in transition. Can't put it away. Early drop by Summer. That was a ridiculous dig again. Oh my goodness. I would say that, I was gonna say that wasn't a great decision. She dropped way too early and the hitter saw it, but she made a really awkward, weird dig. But that's what she does. She just makes plays, and she has that crazy volleyball instinct.
key defensively is to not be tense, right?
Right.
And I think Summer Ross embodies lack of tension better
Yes.
than anybody else I know.
Exactly.
Another match point here. High swing by Kim.
Summer wishes she had that one back. She made the right move, but Kim stayed aggressive and hitting that seam. Looked like Summer dove angle, but went a little bit too far. Didn't drag that inside hand to take care of the seam. A lot of times when you're diving angle, it's hard. It's easy to want to bring both your hands over into the angle, but you got to drag the inside hand a little bit to make sure that you got that seam covered as well, or else you're giving up way too much court.
Another perfect serve receive set by Brooke on the short serve. It's really, it's disheartening in a way to know that Brooke Sweat sets better in serve receive than I could set as a setter.
Oh, there it is. An error. DiCello and Stockman had such a good tournament. They've been on fire all season. Taking a third place here. But one of the top teams in the world, Brooke Sweat and Summer Ross, continue their run here in New York City, and now they're going to the finals.
Finals. This is their first tournament on the AVP this summer. We didn't see them. We didn't get to see them in Huntington and Austin, but they're certainly making their mark on this tournament here in New York.
Absolutely.
Still perfect. No sets dropped.
Wow.